Hey, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue our flight into this amazing language. Yesterday, we talked about 聚焦乌克兰. So 乌克兰 is our translation of Ukraine, and 聚焦means gather, focus on Ukraine. So this is a contemporary expression, probably used by some news reporting agency as a title. Focus on Ukraine. Okay. 兰心蕙质. Okay. We translate 乌克兰 as a sound translation. So 兰 doesn't really have anything to do with the country Ukraine, but 兰 as a character that we translate as orchid. So this orchid actually has much cultural significance in Chinese. We regard orchid represents the good, like a good quality people versus some narrow-minded. So this orchid one probably somebody who can think better, so to speak. So 兰心蕙质, altogether this phrase is used often to describe a woman with certain qualities. So now let's unpack what are exactly the qualities. Okay, 兰. Right now, 兰 in simplified Chinese, you see just 3 horizontal strikes. Make sure, just visually make it a distinctive. The middle horizontal line stroke always go shorter. So if you have a 2, like a number 2, we have 2 strokes, right? The top one is shorter than the bottom one. And if you have 3, the highest one and the bottom one is an equal length, and the middle one is shorter. Just tiny distinctions to help you see, oh, that's 3 easily. Okay. And then on the top, just 2 dots. So for contemporary Chinese users, simplified Chinese, it doesn't really make much sense. Like what? Okay, it's a pronunciation. It's almost like a sound marker for us. There's not much meaning to it. But if you see the traditional Chinese, the origins of the language, and especially like I search out like what exactly is that? Okay, there are 3 components here, and it's a symmetrical. Okay, I like it when Chinese characters are symmetrical. I like it the other way too, but okay, this is symmetrical. The top one, like kind of looking like this, are a grass symbol. That's easy to understand, right? Just simple things growing. You have the 3 simplified branches, means, you know, multiple. Still, it's a living thing. Okay, it's a grass. And then this structure, kind of a block, and then with a line, kind of reverted L shape, but it's like a facing each other. That's our door symbol. It's actually visually a 2-panel door, because in ancient times, the doors are highly decorated on your eye level. So upper is like more, there may be carvings or paintings on the door to decorate the door. It's eye level, right? And the bottom is like, you are not going to look down there. So who cares that much? So if you have limited resource and money, of course, the visual focus will be your eye level. So that's why the door on the top portion here are more like with something stroke to signify, okay, that's the panel. And at the bottom, there's not much things there. And of course, we do have simple panel doors as well. And then outside the door, this character, last time I saw it, is the east word, but actually this is another character, is a totally different meaning. It looks like east. The east would have this middle line horizontal that says it's the sun, but if it has this like oval shape, have 2 vertical lines, that's a different thing. Okay, we have to view it in a different way now. This arch, upward arch, and the bigger arch facing downward, and the vertical line, that big structure is our tree symbol. So we have seen that one often, right? That's our visual depiction of the tree. And then this in the middle, this oval thing in the middle, is kind of like a bundle of the tree. Without the two vertical lines, the whole thing would mean bundle. So tree is the origin, right? And adding the this oval shape, it's like a binder on the tree, right? Otherwise, it's going out in all directions. Now it's bundled up. So this is like a visual sign to tell you it's a bundle. And then the two vertical lines it means separation, like sorting. So altogether, this character actually means a sorting out, to say pros and cons, tell you yes and no's. So things like that, to try to distinguish, to discern, to read further about a thing. So lan, even if it's a together, because it got a grass symbol, it just means a type of orchid. But this character carries the meaning of sorting. So that means somebody who's discerning. Okay. And xin, heart. So this is our heart symbol. Nothing much to say. It's just a visual representation of the heart. And you can see the heart again here, but it's squished to the bottom because it needs to be proportionally correct. Like so it's at the bottom. It means heart. And on this hui character, you can see the grass symbol again. And I mean, why things look different? Because they are captured. This character's ancient way of depicting these characters are captured on different media, and because it's written on different media that carried down over time, that didn't rotten to earth, they got different tools to render it. So some are like this. It's more likely on a book, so it's in a brush, fine brush. So the strokes can be better controlled, versus this one can be carved with a chisel, knife or something, right? It's a kind of woodwork or on the shell. So it's a kind of a carving too. The edges are sharper. So that's why it's the same thing. It's 3 of such grass symbols on the top. So it's something related to plant as well. And then the middle, this with the cross in the middle, the block with the cross in the middle. And well, if you see the contemporary, probably it's easier. That actually was evolution from this symbol. So the top portion of that, probably the middle top portion of that, came from this. And this came from this symbol, looks like a contemporary Arabic number 8, right? It's a number 8 looking thing, is our coil for thread, for weaving. So because, okay, weaving or on looms used to be a big activity, domestic economic activity, because we don't really have commerce back then, right? It's homemade clothes. Every family has to have that capacity. So this is a commonly seen object of something used to coil the thread together. So it's like a long thread, and the long thread of coiling over the heart, this combination means kindness. So my reading of that, it could be because it's a thread, and the heart, it means a connection of the heart. So it's kind of empathy. So from empathy, that's the meaning evolved into kindness. Like you can appreciate the situation that another person in, so you can treat them kinder, to kind of fill in the context of what, like how they probably were not behaving nice to you, but you kind of see the kind of dismay or where they came from, so you can help them better because you can see them, understand them better. So that's the kind of a connection of the heart. And this, under the plant symbol, make it a type of plant as well. So I tried to find, actually there's a plant called huilan, the combination of the two. So it's a type of orchid or Cymbidium. Okay, I searched this as a big, very specialized term for type of a plant that's commonly seen in southern China. Okay, so this together means another type of plant that got this connection of heart, right? So this is sorting, this is connection of heart. And then we have 心 and 质 actually used to describe the quality of the person. So 质, okay, let's unpack this. We have the bottom side, 贝. Okay, 贝 always means money back then. So something related to money. Why? Because we used to have seashells as a currency. Is a durable and plenty enough to be used as a currency back then. And then the top portion, you see it's a repeated element that repeated twice. And this was actually 金. In today's characters, 金, it means using axe to carve off something. So my understanding is like imagine a butcher shop. So the butcher carved off a piece of meat, and that piece of meat actually got to be weighed, right? So we buy like a 1 pound or 2 pounds, things like that. So this actually was a unit of weight, probably often used in butcher shops. It's a similar, kind of a closest to the unit of a pound actually in America. So 斤 in Chinese is like 0.5 kg. So it's 500 gram, similar to a pound. So there are two of them. That means 2 pounds. So you have 2 pounds here, and then you have money here. That actually started as a evaluation or actually valuation of something. So something's worth, and something's worth, even if at the beginning it's quantified, right? It's 2 pounds of something's worth, right? But eventually this character used as simply as the essence, the quality, the like, I guess we can still go back to something's worth. So the worth of something. So that becomes the quality of something. So we have this plant. It looks elegant plant, but it's not like loud, right? It doesn't have big petals. It doesn't have complicated many layers of petals. It doesn't have bright colors. It's kind of subtle, but it's complicated visually enough to capture your attention, right? So 兰心蕙质, okay, is the ideal of femininity in Chinese culture. And it's a type of woman, eventually I understand, that you see the brush here holding, is type of like intellectually educated, or intellectually curious and independent woman. So okay, back then that's the history of Chinese. So men are the only ones, like family resources pull in to support men to go to school and memorize a ton of information, try to write, talk eloquently, so that it can be selected to become a part of the governing body. So that's the the past. One admired family supported career path back then for men. But what is the past for women? Women, oftentimes they are just regarded married off, and they become somebody else's family name, as family on somebody else's a family tree, like it's not even related to your family. So women, girls were treated often like without any education. It's like, why bother? It's not going to benefit our family name anyways. They are going to be transferred, married off, right? But there were, still, it's the main context, but there were families, even if it's just daughters, still there is this human connection between, I don't know, mother, daughter, father, daughter. They still value their daughter, even if eventually daughter will become somebody else's wife, right? So some girls back then got lucky enough, got supported by the family so that they can get educated. They can become really fluent readers, speakers, and they have their own thoughts. They are more equal to men, just like that. So simply by education, and because people, their own propensity, some could be really amazing writers and got their own thoughts and the critiques of the society, right? So that's the type of woman that's this character is for. It's not for kind of a demure, meek, kind, okay, connection of heart, so it's like a treat you kindly. Not that simple, actually. It's somebody who is discerning in this character origin, right? Somebody educated who understand the situation, but who can also connect to people, and they are really mature intellectually. So that's the type of woman. And this depiction of the Asian woman came from the 80s, a vastly popular show back then. It's called The Dream of Red Chamber, and this is one main character, and that actress captured our imagination in the 80s of ancient Chinese women who are well-read, who are emotionally rich. Like this girl cry a lot, well, probably because of her background, but also because she was emotionally rich, and she sentimental, so to speak, right? And she is educated, so she is depicted using a brush here. So that's when I was searching the web for this character, what's the representation, and this came across this. I think she is the best representation of femininity ideal back then, that got like femininity kind of equal to men, because they are just as intellectually, strong and powerful as men. Catching the Tendency of Thinking by One Word a Day with Sophie. See you another day.